All right. Well, we're meeting with Ellen. We stopped into her office to see how things are done at the assistant general manager level. She's got quite a few years with the industry. So if you tell us a bit about yourself and your role that you play here
Okay.
at the auction, and like I'm brand new, never been to the auction before, so I want to actually maximize
Right.
my experience at the auction, and of course, if there's anything that I should be sure that I avoid, I'd love to know what that is. Two, is it okay to ask questions? Are there only certain days or certain times,
Right.
or just drawing on your expertise?
Okay. All right.
Share it.
Okay. Well, my name is Ellen Westfall, and I've been here since 1984 part-time and 86 full-time. Started as a title clerk on Wednesday nights and have kind of progressed up. I'm the assistant general manager over customer. So that involves anything to do with arbitration, customer support, total resource, the Imperial Nights, and we also have a specialty truck sale and also the main office. So anything that has to do with dealing mainly with the customer and their needs and any issues or problems. So in that, one of the main things I want to say is that when you come into the auction to buy a car, absolutely know what you're buying. You really need to kind of have an idea or have your tools handy, you can either have, your Manheim.com on your phone, and you can look up prices. It'll have the it'll have a good list of the MMR, which is our Manheim market research price,
Okay.
and it'll show you anything that's bought around the auction. But when you get out in the lanes, you need to pay attention to what's on the screens. We have simulcast behind the auctioneer's head, and we also have it behind, in between the two lanes, behind the dealer if they're looking at the auctioneer. And you need to pay attention to what car is up. That's a common mistake that's made. They'll look at the car in the lane, and the car that they're actually bidding on has already driven out of the lanes. So make sure you pay attention to what's on the screen. The announcements will also be on the screen. The color light, if it's a red light as is, if it's a green light, and that's like a ready car, a good car, yellow car, which I'm sure Terry's going to go over with you, but the lights are up on that screen too. They're all in a row at the top. And just pay attention to the auctioneer. Don't run in at the middle of a car bidding and see a yellow light on and don't let it go. You need to ask, what's the yellow light on for?
Okay.
Is it over for 100,000? Is it because it's frame damage? If there's a yellow light on, that means there's something that they've announced on the car. Could be something little, but it's something negative.
Okay.
It's not because it's a brand new car in the wrapper. They don't make those kind of announcements and turn the yellow light on. So if you don't know what they announced when you walk in the lane, or if it's a red light car and there's announcements, ask. Hey, what's the red light for? And the auctioneers know that people are going to ask, and they're not going to try to stuff you in a car. Be clear about which cars you're bidding on. If you make a mistake, you need to let them know immediately. Don't take the invoice, walk around and try to figure out what you're doing. If you made a mistake right there, you need to handle it on the block. I didn't bid that for that car. I didn't, because when that auctioneer says sold, you own that vehicle.
Okay.
And unless that seller sees the mistake you made out there, right then it has to be the seller that's going to help you. So everything that you do should be handled out in the lanes.
Okay.
And on sale day, I'm always out in the lanes, walking the lanes. They have trouble lights on each lane, so if there is a problem, that's what I do. I walk to the lane and try to help them while the sale's going on. That way it's not brought into the office.
Excellent.
So
Excellent.
those, just pay attention.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's been talking to a lot of people and getting some really good feedback, and everybody really just is very interested that it gets done right the first time. The dealer has questions. That they're very, very helpful about helping with getting the answers to that. And it's probably pretty important that I come here before the auction starts.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You should come and preview the cars. Usually people come on Tuesday. We still probably have 200 or 300 dealer units that don't come in until, between, the nighttime and the time the lanes start.
So the main auction is on Wednesday.
Main auction
so most
is on
people come
Wednesday.
here the day prior to that to look
Come
at
the
the
day before.
inventory.
And we also have a Tuesday sale, which you can preview most of those cars Tuesday morning. The night sale's a little bit different, and a lot of the cars come in at the last minute. But we run over 1,000 units on Tuesday night, and then turn right around on Wednesday. And have some of the same sellers. They sell their rougher cars or higher mileage cars next door, and then you can come over here. But preview the cars the day before. Make sure they start. When you're in the lanes, you can't lift up the hood while the car's in the lanes. You can get in and touch the air and stuff like that. But if you're rushing, you really don't know what you're buying, and you should look at the cars beforehand.
Okay. Now, let's say I've picked out a couple of cars I'm interested in, and of course I'm there in the lane when the cars come in to get involved in the bidding process when it starts. But from time to time, I know I might see a car that I hadn't really noticed before, and while I'm not bidding on it now, I might want to look at later and see what it actually sold for. Is there a way I can see what the car's actually sold for after the auction is over?
You can go on Manheim.com and go to the post-sale results, and it'll tell you. If you know the miles on the car and the year and the make, it'll tell you what it sold for. But other than that, the girls at the counter can't give you that information because it's confidentiality.
Sure.
Because it'll show the buyer and stuff like that. But they can look on Manheim.com.
Yeah, from what I see, it looked like I could pretty much see what's there. I could figure what run number and when it is, what lane and what run number.
Yes.
And then I could possibly, I would think like after the auction was over, look it up and see what actually sold for.
Right, you can find
then
that out.
I physically saw the car as opposed to wondering what it looked like and why it was sold for this price.
Right.
Some cars might have a higher price or a lower price for the same automobile, and yet unless you physically see it, it's kind of hard to understand why the difference in the pricing.
And then if they're still interested in it, they could go to the online department. They could contact the person that bought it and see if they can help them.
Okay, so even after the sale is over, some cars that didn't sell, you might be able to go ahead and get a deal done.
Yep.
All right, so if we need to have it done, you guys see to it gets
We want to sell
done.
cars anytime we can.
All right, Alan, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Terry.